Hey everybody, thanks for joining me today. My name is Katherine and I'm with the School District of Philadelphia. I'm a visual arts educator for kindergarten through 8th grade. And today I'm going to be talking to you about Bitmoji Classrooms 101. So starting from the ground up, building your Bitmoji classroom in Google Slides, and going all the way to multi-slide classrooms. So welcome and let's get started. Here's the agenda we're going to be following today, just to give you an idea of what's happening. First, we're going to look at what a Bitmoji is, getting you the Bitmoji app if you don't already have it, getting started from a blank slide, using a template, and then more advanced ideas. If you've already downloaded the Bitmoji app and put the extension into your address bar, then you can go ahead and fast forward until we get started from a blank slide. That is the beauty of YouTube videos. You can speed them up, you can slow them down, you can fast forward, and you can rewind, and you can pause. So if you need to move around within the video, pause the video, speed it up, slow it down, you can do all of those things. Let's get started with Bitmoji. What is it and how do we use it? What's a Bitmoji? They are all the rage in education right now. So a Bitmoji is a cartoon version of yourself. It's an expressive avatar cartoon that you can style and dress as you like, and then choose a variety of poses and props for it. And some of my favorites are right here on the screen. I'm an art teacher, so the one with the palette and the paintbrush really appeals to me. The nice work, the I know you read that with the angry face. I'd like to send that to some of my colleagues sometimes. So how to get the Bitmoji app. You can see me just looking at the phone there. I like that Bitmoji too. I find the funniest ones when I'm looking for them to put it into presentations. So the first thing to do is go into the App Store on your smartphone and download the Bitmoji app. This should be available on whatever smartphone you have. And once you download the app, you should be able to create an account, either with your email address or with a Snapchat account if you have one and you want to do this. If you need to download Bitmoji and create an account, pause the video here and then start it up again once you have it downloaded and you're ready to go. At this point, you can create your avatar. Bitmoji will allow you to take a photograph of your face to jumpstart creating all the features. So it will get the shape of your face, how far your eyes are from each other, the shape of your nose, your mouth, your ears. And then if anything's not right, you can go in and correct it. Or you can start from scratch if you want to build something of your own. Or if you want to build a Bitmoji that doesn't look like you. If you want to build a Bitmoji that looks like a famous artist, that's cool too. Then you get to dress your avatar. That's really fun. I play around with the dress of my avatar every couple of days, so when I create different slides for my students, they look different. My Bitmoji is not always wearing the same thing. The next thing you're going to want to do is get the Bitmoji extension from the Chrome web store. You got to use Chrome for this extension, and trust me, it's worth it. I use Chrome for everything. So you're going to search in Google for Bitmoji extension, really easy to find. You're going to go download it, takes 2 seconds. The next thing you want to do is you want to pin the extension to your address bar. And the way to do that is hit the puzzle piece in the top right corner of your screen, and that'll show you all of your extensions. You're going to find the Bitmoji extension. It's right there in the corner. I screenshotted what it'll look like for you. And you're going to make sure you hit that blue tag. That tag should be blue. If it's empty, if it's not filled in, that means that it's not pinned to the address bar. If it is filled in, it means you've successfully pinned Bitmoji to the address bar. And you'll probably find that little Bitmoji icon right next to the puzzle piece when you go to add your Bitmoji into your slides. So moving onward, getting started. So how do we do this from scratch? We want to make a classroom. Before we even add a Bitmoji, we need to make a classroom. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to open up Google Slides, start with a blank slide, and you're going to use the slide menu to change the background. So I have some screenshots here on the screen for you. You're going to go up to the file menu, go over to slide, click on that, go to change background. Once you get there, you're going to hit choose image, and then you come up with the second screen, and you click over to the tab that says Google Image Search. Floor and wall, or wall and floor, is going to be your best bet for getting a complete classroom set up straight off the bat. If you're feeling really adventurous and you want to make your own wallpaper for your classroom, we're going to get there in the next slide. But the easiest way to do this is use a pre-made wall and floor. double click the image you want, and click Done on the background. Then you will have your background ready to go. So if you're feeling really fancy, once you've added your floor, just a floor, or you could add a wall and replace it, you're going to add an image over top of that. So what you're going to do after you've added your wall or floor, or either way you're doing that, you're going to hit Insert in the File menu. So you're going to tab over to the Insert menu, go to Image, and then search the web. Then you can search the web for any image you want to use as your background. I usually keep mine appropriate to what I'm teaching my students. So if we're doing a lesson on shapes, I'm going to use an image with lots of shapes in it. If we're doing a Halloween unit, I'm going to do some spooky monsters in the background. Once you find that image you want, double click to insert it, and then you're going to need to make it fit. So you can drag it, make the size bigger, make it smaller, crop it if you need to. All of these things are part of the image toolbar. And then you're going to add in a Bitmoji person. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And then you're going to make sure if you're adding in a wallpaper, you need to change the order of the things you are putting on your screen. So you need to right click the wallpaper or command click if you're using a Mac, and you're going to click order and send to back. Otherwise, you're going to have things that fall behind that picture, and you need to make sure that image stays in back of whatever you're doing, so it continues to be a wallpaper and you don't lose other things. Adding furniture. When you're adding furniture like desks and couches and chairs, tables and bookshelves, you need to make sure that you're looking for images with a transparent background. Otherwise, you're going to get a colored box around them that you probably do not want and will not make it look like you want it to. So when you do an image search like we did in the last slide, you're going to make sure you use the word transparent when you are looking for something. So the example that I have here for you is I looked for chair, and I found that brown chair with a white square around it. That doesn't look like it's in my classroom. That looks like I pulled it out of the catalog. The image on the left is when I looked for chair transparent, and I found something that didn't have a background on it at all, which makes it really helpful to look like it's in the classroom that I'm building. You can place this image wherever you want it once you've got one. You can alter it later. You can use flip and rotate if you need to. I use flip a lot with my Bitmojis. I'll show you how to do that once we start putting Bitmojis into the classroom. But I use flip a lot if my Bitmoji is pointing the wrong way or sitting the wrong way. If I have a chair that goes one way and my Bitmoji that sits the other way, I'm going to flip one of those images to make sure they match up. I'm going to show you how to do it in a little bit. Here's the tricky part. This is the part with the hyperlinks, where you add books and videos and posters with links. When you want your students to click on something and it takes them somewhere, either to another slide, which we're going to talk about toward the end of the presentation, or to a YouTube link, or an online game, or a Wikipedia article, or an encyclopedia article if that's your jam. So the first thing you do is find the image you want. You can use the Google within the slides that we looked at, the insert image, search the web, but sometimes I find it more useful to go directly to Google. Make sure you're aware of the copyright when you are looking for images. Using the search within Google Slides, make sure these are images you can use according to fair use laws and copyright laws. So if you're going to Google on your own, make sure you are aware of what you can and cannot use. You're going to get that image, you're going to put it into your classroom, and you're going to put it wherever you want. Then you're going to add the link. You need to have the link copied. You need to either have the link copied or know what the link is. So I recommend, if it's a YouTube link, I recommend copying it out of the address bar. And here's how you put it into your image. You're going to click that image that you want to link. So if I have the book cover of Tommy DePaulo's The Art Lesson, and I want to link that to a YouTube read-aloud, I'm going to go to the read-aloud first, and then I'm going to copy the link. I'm going to go back to my Google slide. I'm going to click on the image of the book. I'm going to hit either Control-K on a PC or Apple-K on a Mac. And that'll open up a box asking me where I want my link to go. And then I'm going to paste in the link to the YouTube video. And I'm going to show you that in a couple minutes when we have a look at the template that we're going to be editing. Here it is right now. So put in a quick video on how to add videos in Google Slides, an embedded video on how to embed videos. I got a little meta there. So you can check that out. You are going to get a copy of these slides as well. This is a template that I created. It is available for free on Teachers Pay Teachers. I hope you like it. And everything here is editable. On the next slide, we're going to do some editing on it together. Each of these books has a link to the read aloud on YouTube. That's my Bitmoji there, chalkboard. And on the next slide, we're going to edit this ourselves. So in order to do that, I have to leave presentation mode and go back into the back end. This is what we call the back end. The back end is what you see when you're creating something. The front end is the end that faces the user. So when your students are seeing a PowerPoint that you have published or that you're presenting to your class, that's the front end. And the back end is where you have everything you are working on. So here we are in the back end in Google Slides, and we are going to do some creating. I'm going to get rid of this Bitmoji, and I'm going to put in a different one. So I'm going to go up to my Bitmoji icon, where I can search for any key term that I want. And this is an art library, so I'm going to put in the keyword read. And I kind of like this one where I'm just sitting on these books. I'm going to drag it over, put it right in. Boy, that Bitmoji is huge. I'm going to shrink it down a little bit. Grab the corner, drag it in. Okay, maybe that's a little too small. Make it a little bigger. Make sure it's sitting on the floor. And I don't like the way this Bitmoji is facing. I want her to be facing the bookshelf. So I'm going to click Format Options. I'm going to go into Size and Rotation, and I'm going to click Flip. And my Bitmoji is now facing the other direction. So we've already deleted mine, added our own. We're going to double click the text box to edit. Here is some exciting text. And the last thing we're going to do, like I talked about before, is we are going to replace a book. So as much as I love The Fantastic Jungles of Henri Rousseau, we are going to take him away, and we are going to add in a new picture and a new YouTube link. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go to YouTube and find that YouTube link we want. We're going to go to youtube.com, and we are going to find the art lesson read aloud. I use YouTube for read alouds for my students all the time. Always, always, always want to preview a video before you link it for your students. I have used this video before many times, so I know that it is a safe video to use. I'm going to leave that right here. I know I just copied the link and then I remembered, silly, I got to put the image in first. So I got to go back and look for that image before I can go copy the YouTube link. So I'm going to go into Google and look for the art lesson Tommy did how. I'm going to click images. So I definitely want an image of this book. I'm going to right click, copy image. Now I have an image. I'm going to go back into my slide and I'm going to paste that image. That book is way too big. I got to shrink it way down if it's going to fit on my bookshelf. Grab the corner, shrink it down, sit it on my shelf. I can make it a little bigger so we can actually read the title maybe. Here we go, the art lesson. So now I have the book, but all the other books you can see have YouTube links. All the other books are linked to what they are, but this one isn't because we just put it there. So we got to give it a link. Now I can go in here and I can copy link address for this video. Highly, highly, highly recommend again that you preview all videos before showing them to your students. I have watched this one with my students several times over the past year, so I know it is a safe video to show them. So I'm going to click here on my book. I'm going to click this chain here, insert link, Control K, hyperlink. I'm going to click on it. And what's my link? I'm going to paste my link in there. And now I have a link to the art lesson. So when I scroll over it, I get the video link right there. Before publishing, you also want to check all your links. So just get a quick click on all of your images. Make sure they all link to the right place. Links haven't been broken. Make sure they all work. These are some of my favorite art books. So make sure to replace everything and double check to make sure that everything works out the way you want it to. So here is a blank slide. It will be a blank slide in about a second. We are going to clear that background and start with a fresh, clean slide. So let's start from scratch. Here we go. Background. I'm going to look for a wall and floor. To make this a little bit easier for us, I'm going to tab over to Google Image Search, wall and floor, and find one that I think is going to suit my classroom well. Some of these don't look so great. Some of them look kind of ugly, actually. I am going to pick this one. I like this kind of rainbow going on the floor, nice brick wall. This is the one I'm going to pick. Now I'm going to want to put in some images. So insert image, search the web. I'm going to look for a bookshelf, because that's usually the first thing I want to put in my classroom. And I'm going to remember to put in the word transparent. That way I won't have a problem when I click on the bookshelf, drag it over, and then it doesn't have a background, just the bookshelf. And that bookshelf is way too big. I'm going to shrink it down. Put it up against my wall where I want it. Next, I'm going to add in my Bitmoji. So I'm going to click my Bitmoji icon up here. And I'm going to type in desk and see what comes up. I definitely don't want that desk flipping image. So I'm going to pick this one and grab it and drag it over. That looks like one stressed out teacher. I can absolutely relate to that. So I now have my Bitmoji in here. It's a little big. I'm going to shrink it a bit. Remember, we shrink by dragging a corner and pulling it in. Now I have that. Now I want to add a poster. I'm going to add a motivational poster. Motivational poster. Let's see what happens when I look for a motivational poster. There are some very interesting ones here. I like this one that says smile. It's huge. I'm going to shrink it down so it looks kind of like poster size. It's a very big poster. I'm going to put a poster on my wall. And I'm going to have this link to, let's make a link to a song. So I'm going to look up on YouTube, If You're Happy and You Know It. Because that seems like a great song. Ooh, Sesame Street, always Sesame Street. And I'm going to copy that link. I know that Sesame Street is safe. I'm going to hit hyperlink. And I'm going to attach that video to that poster. So now in the front end, when a student is loading a published version of my slides, they can click on that poster and it will take them to the video of If You're Happy and You Know It with the Sesame Street cast. We've done the book, we've done a poster. Let's move on. We're going to go back into present mode. And we're going to talk about multi-slide classrooms. So when you do a multi-slide classroom, there are a couple of things you need to do. You need to make sure that the front end only has one visible slide at a time. So students use the links on the home slide to access the other pages, and all the other pages link back to the home slide. You need to make sure they all interlink. At least everything links back to slide one, and slide one links to everything. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get students to find what they need to find. You do need to make sure you publish your multi-slide classroom. Even your single slide classroom, you're going to want to make sure you publish it so your students aren't seeing the back end at all. They can't go in and make changes, even if it's on view only. They can't even make a copy of it if it's been published. So they can't ever get in and see how you did it. So make sure you publish to the web, which is right there. It's in the file menu. You click on file, scroll down to publish to the web. And they'll give you a couple of options that will include auto advance. And if you only have one slide, that doesn't matter. And if you've skipped all your slides, it doesn't matter, which is why you need to make extra sure that you've skipped all of your slides. Student facing, the front end. This is what my multi-room classroom looks like on the front end. The front page is on the left, where my students get the link to. Welcome to Art at Heston, that's my school. Click on an element of art to get to a lesson. We haven't gotten beyond forms yet, so there are only links up to lines, shapes, and forms. And they can click on a link to that or extra art projects for fun. The slide shown on the right is my extra art projects for fun page. And students can click around to explore that page, or they can click to return to the main classroom, which takes them back to the slide on the left. And then they can choose other slides that they want to look at and find projects and activities within those slides. The back end that you can see here, this is a screenshot of what my page looks like while I'm working. All of those slides under the first one are skipped. You can see that I with the slash through it. That tells you that it's skipped. So that means if your students try to advance the slides from this front page, they're not going to get anywhere. Clicking anywhere on the page or clicking an arrow will not get them anywhere. They have to actually click a link to get somewhere in this presentation because the slides are skipped. Oops, I didn't mean to go backwards. And you are now a Bitmoji Classroom expert. That is all that I've got for you today. Hopefully it was enough. Going back and pausing and maybe slowing down a little bit might help you. If you have any questions or comments, you can send me an email, katherine.e.steiner@gmail.com. My address is right there on the slide. We'll also make sure you get a copy of these slides, as well as the free art library template that you are free to make a copy of. You can download it straight and you'll have your own copy right away. Make all the edits you want to make. You can make it link to other classrooms. It is up to you. The world and Bitmoji are yours. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I really hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you for coming to the conference. Bye-bye.